Hi guys, Mitch here from 365 Precision Training. Just going to do a bit of a tutorial, a bit of a how-to on correctly setting up Ballistic AE, that's Ballistic Advanced Edition. This is what we encourage guys to use on iPhone. Anyone using Samsung, their choice is really apply ballistics. So Ballistic AE, I've been using it for a fair while, since it first came out really. It's a good app, there's a lot you can do with it. For the purpose of this though, we'll just be running over how to set up correctly to get a drop table. Also a bit of an explanation on what some of the fields mean. Firstly, when setting it up, you want to go into your settings and by pressing this ballistic settings button here, which will give us, there's lots of different things that it'll do as far as sizing, custom velocities, there's so much stuff. Anyway, basically you want to go down to units of measure, distance units, you want to select meters, feel free to select yards if that's your thing, atmospheric units, yep, metric as well. All other units, I like to use imperial. Reason being is that when we talk grip size and that, usually, although we encourage and use mil radians and meters, we talk in grip sizes in MOA, in inches. Bit of a crossover there, but it's just how the shooting industry really rolls. Atmosphere, wind speed. This is where you select, you have miles per hour, kilometre, meters a second, and knots. We teach in kilometres. Miles is also popular as well. It's just whatever your flavour is. So once you have that selected, you can go back to Ballistic AE and get started. So firstly, we got ballistic coefficient. So this is the number designated to your projectile, basically to describe how well it cuts through atmospherics and it defies wind or bucks the wind. So we have, clicking on the information button here, we have a whole different range of calibers, bore sizes to use. Up the top we got bullets, loads, lits, Brian Litz's published BCs, and other as well, where you can create custom BCs and all that type of stuff. So for bullets, we're going to use the Hornady 6.5 LD match. So we go down here to 6.5 mil. Scroll down to your fine Hornady, 140 grain LD match. Now that will bring up a BC. Here it's bringing up the G1 BC of 0.646. Personally, I like to use G7, and I think it's much better suited to long range shooting. If you're shooting a short range or inside of clean air, then this isn't really going to matter too much. But now that we've selected our caliber and projectile, 140 grain LD match, it's given us a BC of 0.646. Now this BC is being listed as a G1, and I'll touch on more on that in a second. So what we want to do is go down and we want to select G7 as our drag model, then go up the top and input the correct number there. So for this, I'm going to use 320 for our G7. So if you have some crazy caliber or something like that, you can enter any bullet diameter in there. It's custom to what you want. Same with BC as well. You can just go back, select a caliber, select a bullet weight, doesn't matter what brand it is, and then you can go up here and adjust your BC to whatever suits. So yep, we got our bullet weight here, pretty self-explanatory. Muzzle velocity there. So I've put in 2850, so that's an average muzzle velocity shot through say 5 to 10 rounds, and the chronograph spat out that number. Chronograph here in foot, so that is the distance that the chronograph was from the muzzle of the rifle. For me, I use a magneto speed, so when I leave that set on 0. So use drag model here. So as I said before, it's given us a G1. We want to use a G7 drag model right there. Reason being is better suited to our long range projectiles and the type of projectiles we're shooting. Your ELD, VLD, boat tail, high BC, pretty slippery projectiles. Your G1 right there is flat base pointed. So it's more suited to, like I say, a flat base 130 grain style bullet or something along those lines. That trajectory is better matched with that drag model. So yep, so try and use G7 in any case where you're shooting long range. That's what you want to roll with. It's just more accurate to what's really happening. So yeah, we have relating data here. I'm not really going to go into that. That's just some notes and details of your reload. So 0 range, 100 meters. Pretty self-explanatory there. 0 height. So this is the height above 0. So the black dot at 100 meter target. Let's just say we want a 0 for maximum point blank range. You want to adjust that. Let's say with 0 to 2 inches high at 100 meters. So we do 2 inches. If you wanted to 0 it lower, for some reason you get the 0.1 mil scope where it may be 1 centimeter higher, 1 centimeter lower off your 0. You can do minus 1 inch or centimeters or whatever, convert that to centimeters. So -1 or minus is down below your dot, and then just writing that number in is above. So 0 offset, much the same, but this time that is left and right. So let's just say our projectile was 0.5 of an inch to the left to offset some spin drift, because that's what you can do. So we'd say 0.5 of an inch, we'd say minus 0.5 of an inch there. So that would represent it to being on the left side of your 0. And if you want to use your right side, minus 0.5. Sight height, so that is the center of your bore to the center of your scope. Pretty self-explanatory again. You just measure that and input it there. Line of sight angle here. So that is the angle that you're shooting up, say up or down. If you're shooting on in mountainous terrain on an angle, but yeah, you don't need to put that in. You just leave it at 0. You can use it to adjust your rifle by sitting it on the rifle. Say our rifle's at around 13 degrees there. We tap it once and it locks it in. So you can lock it into the angle that you're shooting on. But like I said, we're not going to use it. So we'll run that to 0. I think anyway you can get away between 0 and 6 degrees before having to make any adjustments for a shot. Cant angle, so that's canting the rifle left and right. We want to shoot level, so we're going to leave that at 0. So 0 atmosphere. So this is the atmosphere that you've zeroed your rifle in. We're going to just leave that off for this one. Current atmosphere. So we want to maybe turn it off or on. So when you open it, you want to have enable atmosphere. Now it'll come up with, you got altitude, barometric pressure. Pressure is absolute, temperature and humidity. So what this is, if you don't have a Kestrel and you're operating off your internet where you pick up a local weather station, you would use this system here where you press the top right hand icon. It'll find a local weather station. Yep, so let's put it in right there. It didn't work correctly because I don't have it set up for it, because it's not the right way to do it. But yeah, if you're at the range and you don't have a Kestrel or something like that, or something to input your temperature and pressure, that's what you can use. But if you do, you want to have pressure as absolute, which represents station pressure. So now that you'll see that it turned on. You'll see that altitude gets blanked out. You can't set that because altitude doesn't matter. So you now have barometric pressure, which now becomes station pressure, which is different to barometric pressure. So let's put in 910, temperature of 50 degrees, 30 degrees Celsius, humidity 50%. So done. So that's our atmosphere set in. So wind, this is for wind speed. You can also change this in your trajectory table once we get to it. Yep, pretty obvious. You have wind velocity, upwind velocity, wind direction, 90 degrees, wind position. So this is the simple wind feature turned on. So you do have more advanced wind calculations it can do, but this is all you need to get started. So maximum range, so how far we want our drop table to go to, we're going to say 1200 meters for this. Our minimum range is 300 meters because inside of 300 meters, we're not going to really dial that much. Range increments. So let's select 10 meters because 10 meters it's about the distance that you can get away with before needing to dial up any more elevation or having a difference in your height. Vital zone radius. So this is the size of the kill zone on an animal that you intend to hunt. So let's just say 7-inch kill zone. We're not shooting moving targets. So elevation units. Cool guys shoot MRAD. Yep, so I selected MRAD for elevation and windage. Turret, you can change the value of your turret in clicks and that type of thing, and especially if you're doing turret calibration as well. Spin instability. Calculate spin drift. It says you need to put in a projectile length. So 1.374. Twist rate, 8 twist. So we can go calculate spin drift. They'll incorporate it into your wind holds. Chorus acceleration, leave that off. So now that's all done, what I like to do is go up the top square here, press that, click Save Defaults. So if you exit out of the app and open up again, you won't have to start all over again. So now we can click Calculate Trajectory, and it brings up our drop chart. So you'll notice here on the left, so we've got our range in meters, all the way out to 1200. Then we get our drop in mils, wind in mils. So that's what you hold for wind, and drop in mils is obviously what you'll dial for elevation. So it shows you just basically all your inputs. You got your BC, bullet weight, velocity, zero height, all that type of stuff. Add pressure, temperature, humidity, everything you put in. All right, so we'll start from the top, up the top here. Just say we can save this profile into our favorites, and we go to the range. We rip open our phone and open Ballistic AE, and we want to change the weather. You simply just, once you select your favorite, it'll bring this chart up again. You just go to current atmosphere, and that's where you can adjust it throughout the day. So 26 degrees, pressure of 1020. Go to solution, and then it'll change it. So these mirage lines here, you have wind speed for whatever wind velocity you chose. Working in the kilometers per hour here. Let's just put in a 10k wind. So now that's going to give us our wind hold for a 10k wind, full value wind, say 90 degrees or 3 or 9 o'clock. So yep, you can change that here just by adjusting it. Obviously to what the wind direction is, I always just leave it on full value, 90 degrees there. And then you have Coriolis acceleration. You can use the feature up the top right hand side to select turn on your GPS and get your latitude and so on. And then here that's a spot where you can select any projectiles or any loads that you've saved in to the app. And guys, that's pretty much it to get started on it. Yeah, you got your drop. So let's just say, all right, 1,000 meter shot. Okay, we have 9.4 mils of elevation, and for a 10k wind, we have a 1 mil wind hold. Past that, you will see we've got velocity, feet per second, and energy, feet per second, which would be the energy and velocity, obviously, for that distance. That's pretty much it, guys. That's the basics of it anyway. That's how you get started. You can play around with this for a while. There's lots of other different features with a heads-up display, target sizes, even use the rangefinder by using your mils exactly like you would in a scope, favourites and all that type of things. One thing I will show you about is go to our maximum range, and let's extend this to, say, 1,600 metres. And we'll open it back up. It'll bring up this yellow line. So with this BC and muzzle velocity, and atmospheric put into the app. This is our line that tells us where we're going transonic. So we're passing through supersonic into transonic, then going subsonic through our flight. So if you're wondering, how far you're flying supersonic, it'll be around that, say 1450 range to 1500. Then you go on transonic, and then anything after that is subsonic. So if you're going to shoot to the mile with a 6.5 Creedmoor, you obviously do it in subsonic flight. So guys, that's just a quick run over of how to use the app. You can go up here, say projectile. Let's go Hornady ELD match 140 grain. Save. And that's it, that's saved. It's saved to your favourites. So next time you head to the range, click favourites, go through it all. And open it up and you're right to start shooting. Just making sure that you input your weather before you shoot. So what I will touch on, guys, here is our maximum point blank range, 0, currently showing 305 meters. So what that is, in our previous field here under vital zone radius, we had set at 7 inches. So that is a 7-inch kill zone out to 305 meters. We can point and shoot. We don't have to dial any elevation. So the projectile will rise and fall within a 7-inch kill zone. So that you obviously adjust that. The size of that kill zone obviously affects the maximum range that you have to be able to point and shoot. So if any of this information, this is just a quick run over. We go into more depth with this type of stuff on course, precision hunting course and long range course. If you have any inquiries about it all, feel free to get in touch via email, Instagram, Facebook, or text or phone. We're pretty contactable, and looking to help everybody out and introduce them into long range shooting. Also, check out our new website, 365precisiontraining.com.au. There'll be a lot of good content uploaded into that, in the year coming. Also, if you subscribe to the website as well, there'll be a lot of exclusive deals and discounts and stuff like that popping up too. So it's definitely worth keeping an eye on and seeing what's happening. So that's it, guys. That's a quick run over of Ballistic AE. Like I said, if you have any issues or you need to, I didn't cover something in the video, feel free to get in touch and just basically have fun using it and exploring it, and it'll definitely help out your shooting.